Hi guys, welcome to the Jake and Ollie podcast. Just to warn you, this podcast does contain adult themes and strong language. Nerves going past the point of being nerves and they start turning into adrenaline. We can say something else.
You're probably listening to this thinking they really haven't fucking everything now. Ollie's on the piss and then we're rocking up to 9 a.m.
We're in. We're locked in.
Okay, there's no turning back.
It's showtime now. There is no turning back now.
Cheers, mate. To a successful pod. Cool. So, hi guys, welcome to the Jake and Ollie podcast, episode 1. This episode is basically just going to be us introducing the pod and basically see where the idea came from and what we want to explore. So, do you want to kick us off?
I think so. I mean, where the idea came from, really, it was about 4 days ago when we were just getting together, having a few drinks, about to go out for the night. And it's just something that we hadn't really done in a long time, really, wasn't it?
No, absolutely.
Like,
very overdue.
We hadn't actually gone together and we weren't really like distracted by anything, were we? No. We were just like having a few drinks, which is kind of what we want to emulate with doing this. Just having a few drinks and chatting, and it really just spawned from that, wasn't it? We were talking around sort of ourselves, really.
Yeah,
we were just talking about ourselves.
Yeah, I think there is something great about, like, and it's not done enough where people don't just allow the world to go on around them, which is kind of what I feel happened that night. Like, we sat there, the mood lighting was bang on, like, and we kind of just sat there, had a couple of drinks, and started catching up, which just went into a tangent of 4 hours of just non-stop talking and like really like not even just like a catch up, but just really like almost got quite deep about what was going on with life. And I think that's why this idea came up, because it is so important to actually establish what is good and what is bad in life, and you should be able to talk about whatever's going on.
Yeah, and I think that's the great thing about making like a podcast like this and almost creating a platform where we're sort of putting ourselves not really on a pedestal as such, but almost like making an example out of ourselves, trying to emulate that on the most relatable format possible for as many people as possible.
100%. And
where we really want to go with it is we want to create that same sort of energy with people who watch this podcast. So, and we will bring some more specificity to this. I feel like we're being a little bit vague right now. So let's not beat around the bush with it. Let's actually get stuck into it. What really specifically were we talking about on that evening?
So essentially what happened was we just spoke about life, and we spoke about the negative side of life quite a bit, but also spoke about the positive, and we kind of just had this great connection in bouncing off of each other and just listening to each other and understanding each other, that we then were like, I feel really good after doing that and I'd love to continue doing that. So then the pod idea came up and we were like, why not? Like, even if it just turns out to be that only a couple of people get benefited out of this, even if it's just us two, like, because essentially this is like not a therapy session, but like it's going to be good to just sit, catch up and have a chat and stuff. So yeah, like coming out of that, I think we go to like, well, essentially what it was that night was just, it's like talking about different topics, really, wasn't it? And we originally said like maybe about going down the men's mental health route. And then we started to think of names and stuff to call the pods, and then we were like, well, why niche it to such one thing?
That was a difficult process, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, the name was really hard.
Was quite hard. I think I really like the name, to be honest. I like it because, like you say, it doesn't limit us to anything.
No.
We want our mission statement to be to promote openness
Mm-hmm.
among people and to get people talking more about how they're feeling. Essentially, we don't really want to be we don't want to be a bit like airy fairy with it,
not at all,
but that's really what we want to promote. And by doing this, we can talk about ourselves, and we can use ourselves as an example for that.
100%.
We can also promote that to people watching this as well, which I think is a nice idea.
No, absolutely.
We do have like an email set up, which we'll
get onto later.
Which we'll get onto later, and I think it would be a great space for people to.
A safe space.
I think it's relatable. A safe space.
A safe space
for people to maybe share something that they're proud of. We're proud of doing this already.
100%,
Do you know what I mean? And we haven't really even
put the first episode
finished
up.
it. And like on that Saturday night, I was like I was actually so excited it's so funny that you said that, actually, because I was thinking about doing a similar thing myself. I recently made a video and uploaded it to Instagram of doing a similar thing, of just trying to be a bit more open because it's uncomfortable. Like it's horrible, to be honest with you. It feels horrible. It feels slightly horrible right now, but you just have to kind of lean into it.
100%.
I mean, on Saturday we were super excited to get this done, but the days preceding after that, I don't know about you, but I felt a little bit. The excitement went a little bit, and that initial gut feeling that you get over a brilliant idea, you're like, yes, this is amazing, let's go for it. And then once that kind of starts to settle, it's almost like your ego kind of comes back to bite you in the arse a little bit. And it's kind of like, it draws you back in. You start thinking, oh, actually, I don't really want to do this. I'm a little bit nervous. I'm a little bit scared.
I'm starting to get a little bit shaky.
I'm starting to get me, you know what I mean? But
no, 100%. But also, going off of that, like, there's so many times, like, you'll go out and have a few drinks with whoever, and you'll sit there and be like, oh, let's do this, or let's just do something. And it's like, it's just one of them conversations. Whereas I woke up the next day and I was like, I'm excited. Like, that was never a thing where I'd be like, oh, that was just a passing comment. Like, it was something that I then knew, like, this is going to become a part of my life for a bit. But no matter how long it's going to be for, this is something that I'm now going to be working on, which I was really excited about. And the last few days, like, getting it all together, whether it be the name and the Instagram page and stuff like that, like, it's been good for me as well, because I don't just then, like, sit there scrolling through TikTok. Like, it's actually given me a motivation to do something. So I think I was really excited for it.
It feels like you're working on something, isn't it? It's always good to work towards something that you're proud of. And I think when you work towards something that you're proud of and it is part of your, like, personal development as a person, then that's the best kind of development possible in my eyes and from my experience. 100%. And when you get that kind of nervousness crop up around something, especially for you, like, that is like probably one of the most, like, relatable things ever.
No, 100%.
But you've got to lean into it, haven't you?
Nerves are the best thing. They say when you don't get nervous about something, it's when you should give it all up. And that's for my line of, like, work anyway.
It's true for anything, isn't it? Like, 100%. It's true for your profession within acting and musical theatre. It's true for making a banging podcast. It's true for going for new jobs, things like
interviews,
that.
Anything that's going to make change in your life, that could make change in your life, because change is a scary thing, I think.
It's good to kind of put I like to view it as, I never used to view it like this, but I think when you start sort of leaning into, like, personal development and that side of things, when you get nervous about something, like you say, it's because you care. And I like to view it as you're on the brink of something.
You're on the brink of something.
You're on the brink of almost leveling yourself up, like leveling up your personality maybe, or your business. Like, it doesn't have to be. It's just, you're leveling yourself up. You know what I mean? You get those nerves because it's your body's way of trying to get you back into comfort, isn't it? You're trying to get back into that comfort zone. Doing new things puts you way outside of that, and it feels fucking terrifying. But you got to do it, like,
100%.
And the more you do it, I think the easier it is.
I don't know if it ever gets easier. I think you just learn how to cope with it. I think that's the issue. That's where you then start to learn different ways of dealing with your nerves and stuff. But yeah, I think when nerves go past the point of being nerves and they start turning into adrenaline.
We could say something else, but let's just shit yourself. I feel like this is like like a live wire.
Yeah.
Like, this could like. I feel like at any moment this could go from like the most like sincere topic in the world
0 to 100. Just like that. But that's what we want it to be. That's what we want it to be. Yeah, just to basically sum up what we do want from this, it's like for you guys listening and watching, like we want to inspire you guys to just be open with your friends, your family, whoever it may be, or even if it's just a case of like you come and listen or watch the podcast and you think I've had a really bad day at work, and you come back and think I just need X amount of time out, whether it be you just watch for 20 minutes or you watch the whole episode or whatever. You sit there, you grab a beer, and you almost feel like you're sitting at the table with us having a beer, you know. Which is also why it's like thought about let's do what that night was. Let's sit there with a drink and just chill out and have a chat, because that's the organicness of it. And I think that's really important. But yeah, this isn't going to be every episode where we sit there and we talk about like mental health things. And we were at one point going to go down the route of it just being like that for men, because I think men's mental health is very important. And there probably will be a few episodes that are like that. But also we want the whole audience, whether it be male, female, non-binary, whatever, like I don't care who you are, what you are, like I just want you guys to be able to listen in and feel comfortable with us, and enjoy it and laugh and enjoy the topics. And yeah, when we get like later on, when we start talking about like getting involved with us and stuff, like about sending things in, like don't be afraid to, whether they're good or bad things. Like I think definitely
yeah, we don't want to set it up like we're your agony aunt.
No, yeah, absolutely,
but we kind of are. I don't know what the best way to explain this is.
I'm struggling.
And you're probably listening to this thinking they really haven't fucking
they
thought anything
thought
out from what they're rambling on. But we've started. We've started. We've made an inroad into it.
Yeah.
It's there.
Yeah,
the general aim is there.
Yeah, 100%.
And we'll work it out along the way.
Yeah,
how we're gonna perfectly.
how
we're going to perfectly tailor it to how we want to tailor it. But the main thing is we're taking action. We're moving with the idea.
We are, and it's exciting.
And we're getting it out there.
It's really exciting.
On the topic of, if there is something that you're like, I've got this maybe like promotion at work that I want to go for, I'm a bit shit scared, or what's the best way to increase my productivity to work towards that? Not saying we're like productivity like gods, but we do have some experience in that, and it will become more apparent when we share our own goals,
100%.
Or what we've achieved in our
when
lives.
you guys find out about us, and when you find out what we do as a living and what our hobbies are and stuff like that, you can then become relatable to us. So while we're on that, should we dig into that? Should we explain what we do and stuff?
Yeah, let's do it. So, shall I go first?
Yeah, go on. After you.
So at the moment, I say at the moment, and it'll become more apparent, I think. But so currently, I work as a physiotherapist in a hospital in Essex.
Very nice.
And I've graduated from uni, I think 2 years ago now. I studied physiotherapy at uni, at Bournemouth Uni. Had like the most amazing time there. Like met some of like the closest mates. Like my best friends now are my friends from university, and it was like one of the most without being too cliche, one of the most life-changing experiences, definitely, of my life so far. Had an amazing time there. So graduated my physiotherapy degree. Started work in August 2020.
Cool.
Right around when the coronavirus pandemic was kicking off in the UK. I think it was about the second wave at that time, because it was that year, January time, it fully kicked off. So it was all kicking off again. And yeah, I started working at the hospital in that environment. And from there, I've transitioned to a few different departments. Worked with loads of amazing people, loads of amazing patients, both children and adults. And there's probably a lot there we could talk about on a different time. But for the moment, what my current goals are from today is to, the first one being join the British Army as an officer.
Amazing.
As a full-time officer, so I will not be practicing physiotherapy anymore, and join as a full-time officer. Not really sure what regimen that's going to be in yet. The kind of timeline for that is the end of next year.
Okay.
So I can start my selection at the start of next year.
Right.
And we're filming this in March.
Yep.
2022.
Yeah.
So I can start my selection again then. So I'm currently on a medical deferral for that, and that's the reason why. Again, I think that's something we could massively explore. Yeah. So yeah, until then, until I join the British Army, my other goals, I'll be progressing my career in physiotherapy in that time, sort of moving through the ranks, if you like. I'm writing a book.
Amazing.
I'm writing a men's self-help book, because I feel there's a real niche for it. I don't think I think there are lots of good books out there, but there isn't a book like the one I'm writing.
Right, cool.
There are self-help books out there from the likes of like your David Goggins, like Jacko Willnick.
Yep.
I think I butchered his name there, Ant Middleton. People like that you watch and that you read, and you're like, it teaches you all these lessons, and you're like, that's relatable. But then they take it to like the nth degree. They're like, I've ran 17 ultra marathons, and it's like most people reading that are not going to run 17 ultra marathons.
No, yeah, it needs to be realistic.
They might gun for that promotion they wanted to get at work, or start a side hustle, or start a social media following, something like that, which is kind of what I'm doing in my book. And I'll write about my journey in doing those things, in joining the army, starting a pod. So the other thing I'll be working on in those 2 years is the pod.
Amazing.
It's the pod, and it's there now.
It's there.
It's projected.
It's done.
Out to the world.
It's out there. It's in the universe.
Has to happen.
It's there. It's ready to go. Cool. Yeah. So basically, my career's always kind of been the same. So I'm an actor, a performer, dancer, singer, musical theatre and TV based. I've been very, very lucky, like from a kid all the way through till now, really. So I did bits and bobs when I was a kid, got an agent when I was young, and then that progressed. And while I was still at school, I was able to go to school and work. Then did my A-levels because I thought that was important, and I also didn't feel mature enough at 16 to go to this big wide world of college. Musical theatre college is essentially uni, but it's more practical based, and it's really quite intense. You do your average day is 9 till 6 easily, and then sometimes we were there till 9, 10 at night. So like you're doing long days with commuting to London and back, which was from my choice. I didn't want to move to London, but yeah, that was that. So then went to college. I went to Italia Conti in Barbican in London. Went there for 3 years, and then graduated similar time as you in 2020 when the world locked down. So that was tough. That was really tough, because then from what I'd known all my life of picking jobs up in my industry and auditioning and stuff like that and teaching like on the weekend, I'd then gone into this, okay, so that side of my life completely done, and I'm now actually an adult, and I have to earn money, but I wasn't able to earn money in the industry that I wanted to because it was shut down. So then I took on, please don't take offence to this, but we call people who aren't in the industry muggles. So I then took on a muggle job. I took on about 4 muggle jobs. I was working at Amazon. I did Domino's. Where else did I work? I did a 9-to-5 call centre. All of which, to be brutally honest, I hated. But again, it was just money for the time being, and I knew it wasn't permanent, so it kind of got me through. And yeah, then coming out of lockdown, very lucky and grateful to be able to teach freelance, because we're all self-employed as performers. So yeah, I do freelance teaching, whether that be workshops or dance classes at a school each week, or singing lessons or acting lessons. So yeah, that's what I'm doing at the moment as I'm auditioning. And yeah, in a couple of weeks I'm off to do a little job for 2 weeks, which is, as I say, a little job is because it's a small period of time. But yeah, off to play Buttons in Cinderella in the Lake District, which is going to be really exciting. So I'm really excited about that. Really excited I was lucky enough to do Panto this Christmas just gone, which was so good to be back on stage, just performing again and meet loads of different people, and yeah, it was really, really good. So yeah, that's kind of my line of work. I do TV stuff and musical theatre stuff. So
there's so much there that
is
you
a
could
lot.
explore, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
Like from even going to like a musical theatre college.
Yeah, I could talk about
and
that.
that sort of thing.
Yeah, 100%.
Like I'm sure there's like plenty to talk about there in terms of like what it's actually like to go to a musical theatre college. And I'm sure like you can imagine, but it is pretty like niche, isn't it?
It's very
like,
niche.
It's
and
not
also,
like a usual university.
No, not at all. And like we didn't really have like the social side. Like you didn't have your student nights and all that sort of stuff. It was a case of you'd go to college, you'd do your lessons, and you'd be like, well, I've got 9 a.m. ballet in the morning, so I am not going out. There is no way I'm doing that with a hangover.
Is there some people though, like on the piss and
so
then
we'd
rocking
have,
up to 9 a.m. ballet?
We did have like Freshers Week, which because we had to fundraise for different things. So we had a Freshers Week, and then yeah, a couple of them mornings were a bit rough around the edges, but you get through it. Something just comes over you. They can be rough. I mean, some worse than others, but you just got to power through. But yeah, like, I mean, I could sit here and talk for hours about college.
Yeah, I think let's keep it to synopsis for now, and let's do that. Let's do that another time, because I'm interested to know, to be honest, because we haven't actually really spoken about your like college or anything like that
and stuff. Yeah,
and I would just like to know anyway,
because there's also like, it's not even like, because I think a lot of people think, oh, that's great, like all you do is just go and dance for 9 hours, when essentially there's so much more to it than that. There's like, mentally it's hard, physically it's hard. You do have to really look after yourself in both of them factors, because it is so strenuous. But I wouldn't change for the world, and I wouldn't ever be able to actually, because there was a lot of things that like in lockdown and stuff, people were like, oh, why don't you just not do it anymore? And I'm like, because that's not an option. Like, I genuinely, there's like, theatre's
that
not...
is such a stupid thing to say, though.
But also, it's actually like, I understand why it's said, because at that time I wasn't making money from that industry, so like people wanted it so that I was financially stable, which again is something that is another topic. But just because you go to college, it doesn't mean that you have to perform. And I've had this conversation with a lot of people, and just like a lot of it is like self-discovery as to like whether you want to do it or not, or what route you want to go down in that industry, or if you want to leave that industry completely. And I think that's a really important thing that should be explored. But yeah, I would never actually be able to. That's one thing I've learned. I'd never not be able to be in the industry, whether it be performing it or just involved with it. It's where my passion lies. So
I mean, it's like transferable skills as well, though, isn't it? Like just having that self-confidence. Like you say, you don't actually have to perform. I could see, like in my mind, someone going to like a performing arts college, being so proper like self-confident, that kind of thing, coming out of it and then being like a really sick like salesman or something like that, because they've just got that energy about them
100%.
that captivates. Like you can captivate an audience, like you can captivate 3-4 people in front of you that you're trying to sell something
100%.
to. So there is a lot into it.
Maybe I'll be the next Wolf of Wall Street.
I think.
Let me show you this pen. Let me show you this pen. No, not let me show you this pen. You show me this pen.
I was going to say, you start dancing around the pen.
Wolf of Wall Street, the musical.
Flipping it up. I'd love to see that. That'd be great.
Maybe that's what we'll get. That's our next project. That's our next project. Wolf of Wall Street, the musical.
James tries to sell Ollie the pen.
But yeah, so that was kind of that.
Sure. I mean, you come out of it as well, and it's COVID.
Yeah.
So you finish, do all that work, and then everything's shut.
Yeah. So that was really tough, but yeah, obviously got like a small few goals coming into the year, like just about booking some more jobs. Booking jobs like is when you like obviously get a job, but not teaching. So like you are performing, whether it be in TV, film, theatre or whatever. So I'd like to book something, no matter what it is, and just be able to sit there and go, well done. You've achieved it. You've done it. And like each thing has been like, I always dreamed of being in a panto. I did that last year. Dreamed of being like a lead in something on buttons in a panto. Like that's so like, it's like, I'm very grateful, very humble for who I am. But I also know that my journey could increase, and I'm hopeful for that. So
yeah,
I'm definitely going from there.
I mean, it's the best feeling, isn't it? When you,
100%.
When you, it's the worst time to get a cough. I feel like it just keeps hitting me, and I'm like trying to suppress it. But it's the best feeling when you accomplish something you said told yourself you were going to do, and you didn't like flake on yourself or fail yourself. It just gives you that extra energy in your step, isn't it? When you like
100%.
carry yourself. That you said you were going to do it, you put in the effort, and you actually.
Which was actually crazy because like last year was a real struggle, and I came into the beginning of this year and a lot changed in my life. And I said to my mates, I know that I'll be booked by my birthday. I was like, I'm going to make it happen. Fly. I know I'm going to be booked by my birthday, I'm going to make it happen. And then later on that month, I booked buttons, which is happening before my birthday. So when that happened, I was like, wow, that was really like, okay, cool. But yeah, just had to work hard, and I know that it'll just keep going. But you have to be patient with it. It's not a industry where sometimes, well, some people it does, but some people it doesn't. Sometimes you do take gaps and have to wait for things to fall at your feet or get your foot in the door somewhere. But it'll all happen. I'm really excited for that.
We are almost at around 30 minutes.
We are.
How do you feel like we've done kind of do you feel like we've got the message across that we wanted to get through? I feel like we've actually explored ourselves quite well.
Yeah, I think we've explored ourselves well.
So, what do you think people are thinking right now
These
when
two are clowns.
when they're listening to it? Do you think they get it? That's just the.
I think they're like,
Do we care?
that was half an hour of my life I'll never get back. No, I don't know what. I hope from the beginning bit when we were talking about it, listen, we both were a bit nervy, so like, please forgive us for the waffling.
Please forgive me.
Because there was quite a bit of waffling, I have to say. But essentially, I hope you've got what we want from the podcast. And I don't know, yeah, we'll go on to it now when we wrap it up. But essentially, we do have a email account. It is all lower capitals. What an idiot.
Lower capitals.
Lower capitals. Lowercase. The J and O pod at yahoo.com. We also have an Instagram page. What's the
Jake and Ollie podcast.
Because sometimes the usernames have to be a little bit different, but no, that is called the Jake and Ollie podcast. So please follow us on that. We'll keep you informed of that. But yeah, essentially, if you want, even if you don't want to say this is what's going on in my life, maybe just say I'd really like to explore this topic, and we can try and relate to that topic and discuss that. And again, email, Instagram, it can all be anonymous. Obviously, if you come through Instagram, it'll have your profile on it, but if you want it to be anonymous, if you would like it to be spoken about as you, then just let us know, and we'll we'll say like this is coming from an anonymous person, or if you want, then we can say that it's coming from this person. And yeah, we just want to explore. To be honest with you, for the next few episodes, we'll probably just be thinking of a theme and a topic, and we'll just sit here and discuss it, and hope that you guys can relate
Where
to
do you
it.
want to go for the next one? Why? As in, we're going to be here.
Australia. Let's take it abroad.
We're going to go in the garden.
Not in this weather. No way.
So what do you reckon? Like
I don't
now
know,
we're
I
kind
think-
of explored a little bit.
I think maybe we look at, as we've briefly spoken about men's mental health today, I feel like maybe we could use that as our next episode. Maybe talk about like any problems we've faced recently or in the long term, and how we've dealt with it and stuff like that.
Let's bring specificity to it.
Okay.
We've been very vague. I
Right.
think we need to. This is funny actually, because for about 2 hours before we actually started doing this, we were just trying to brainstorm ideas, and now we're still brainstorming ideas.
we are.
But
But I think
we're
there's so
actually
much
doing
to.
it.
There's so much.
It is hard, isn't it?
It's a vast.
Because we don't want to be too niche,
Yeah.
but we want to keep it relatable and inspiring to people our age.
Yeah.
Because we want it to be relatable to them.
And maybe not even like, because there could be things that we go through that someone who's 50 is going through.
Yeah.
Like, I think maybe if we ever reach that sort of age bracket, then that's amazing, but I don't think we will. But yeah, we just kind of want to, whoever it's relatable to, I don't mind or care who it's relatable to. I just want people to feel like that was a really good, that's really helped me, that. But yeah, I think maybe we go there, and maybe we talk about just like,
Should we do
go on,
COVID?
right?
Or do we want to do
No,
COVID?
leave it. It's in the past. No, leave it. Let's not discuss it.
Or should we just sit here and should we just grill you on on college? We already sort of touched on it.
I think let's leave it. Let's surprise ourselves with it and the listeners.
Otherwise, to be honest, we could be sitting here
We
for
could,
the next hour.
this could be an hour's
Should we
podcast.
do this? Should we do that?
It could.
Okay, good.
So we'll have a little think and try and make it a bit more certain as to where we're going to go with each podcast. But I feel like if I know we have waffled today, but we just wanted to try and fit as much information in, really, didn't we?
Yeah. I think the middle part was great. I actually really enjoyed it.
I have really enjoyed it.
To be fair. So let's wrap it up.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening.
Yeah, thank you for listening.
We aim to upload a podcast every Saturday, is what we're going to say.
Okay.
I've put it out there.
Right.
This might get deleted and taken out of this.
But
But
once
we're
a
going to
week.
say one a week, and we're going to say on the weekend.
Yeah.
No, we're not. We're not going to say that. We're going to.
Let's
Are
do
we
weekend.
untrustworthy
Let's
now?
do weekend, because I work Saturdays.
Let's do weekend. Once a week, on the weekend. The next podcast will be out to you, not this weekend, but the weekend after.
Okay. Cool.
Let's do it. I'm happy. I'm excited.
Fab. Well,
I'm
that's that
excited.
then. I hope you've enjoyed as much as we have. That was Jake and Ollie from the Jake and Ollie podcast.
Yes!
And we hope to see you in episode 2.
Come on!
See you later.